Hello everybody, in today's video we're going to talk about something that's kind of come up pretty hard with Cold War, and that is a bunch of YouTubers getting into lower skill lobbies and passing that off as real gameplay. Obviously you still got to go ahead and pull off some of the stuff. We're going to talk about how they're doing it and pretty much how this particular system works. This is not a full in-depth on skill-based matchmaking. That's coming later on. I'm working collaboratively with Drifter as well as Exclusive Ace. We're pulling all our data together, and that's a video we should see in the next week or two once we've kind of had a chance to discuss the results, because we were already having an opportunity to play on different accounts and kind of figure out what they're actually using as that metric. We're gonna have tons of details on that, but this one's specifically about YouTubers passing off gameplay as non-reverse boosted when it's obvious that it's reverse boosted. We'll explain a little bit more on that topic. Enjoy the video or learn something new, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back for more Call of Duty content, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. So the first topic we'll talk about is what is reverse boosting. This topic has kind of come around a little bit more as a result of Modern Warfare because of the way they kind of pair players against each other based off certain skill levels, whether it's their KD, score per minute, their accuracy, or other variables that are at play. They're trying to match similar skilled players, and as a result of this, the good players or the higher skilled players end up against each other instead of against the general population, making the vast majority of players' lobbies significantly easier and those top players significantly harder. And that's just kind of a system in place to get more people playing the game for longer periods of time to lead to more microtransactions. That's really what it's all about. It's all about people spending more money on the game. If you're playing the game more, you're going to spend more money instead of just getting curb stomped, leaving the matches, never coming back to the game, and never spending a dollar. So it's really all about money. If it wasn't involved, if there was no microtransactions, skill-based matchmaking would not be in the game. Kind of how they did it in Modern Warfare is early on, people figured out that your last 5 matches were a huge indicator of what your skill level was, and it would place you in a different bracket. So what a lot of times people or YouTubers were doing at the beginning of that game's life cycle is they would literally jump into a match, tank their stats for multiple matches, and then they get put into what is called a protected bracket. There are several brackets, I believe. There's the top end bracket. There's some middle ones that are kind of like allow you to go up and up. It's very fluid though, because like one match you can kind of bump up a little bit because it really depends on what time of day, how many players, what mode you're playing. There's a lot of factors that go into it. It's not just boom, you're going to get guaranteed everyone in your lobby, if you're a 4 KD, is going to have a 4 KD. That's not very practical. Most of them will have like a 1.5 to 2 because average in Modern Warfare was about a 0.8 up to a 1.1. That was what was considered average. Obviously in Cold War, there's something more of an EKIA where every assist also gets added to your eliminations, so you don't get a true perspective of what your actual KD is unless you look at COD Tracker or you're manually tracking them or something like that. So people would take their stats and then would put them in a protected bracket specifically designed for usually for children, people who've never played the game, maybe people who have disabilities or some kind of handicap, and that is a very small number of players that they're getting put with that are separated. And then you have average players to below average, but not, you know, significantly to be put into a protected bracket. Then you have good players and then really good and above average players. So what a lot of YouTubers were doing is they were tanking their stats, and then they found out they didn't have to do all that hassle. They could just join a reverse boosted account. So there's another part to that, right? Obviously they have a second account where they're basically, you know, they already did 10 matches and they're tanking all their stats so that they're getting to that protected bracket. And then what happens is they have that person join a lobby. If there's space, it'll say 10 out of 12 players in the lobby. They session join that player, and then they remove that player because now the game assumes that that lobby is based off that particular skill bracket. So that's what a majority of YouTubers, not a majority, I would say a lot of YouTubers were doing in Modern Warfare. And I think with Cold War, it's kind of like came to that point. If you're looking at the gameplay in the background, I have 2 matches kind of going back and forth with a little descriptive, non-reverse boosted and reverse boosted. I ended up playing a couple matches, trying out this method, and I was able to get a nuke in my second match. I didn't get a nuke every match. I played a couple matches, and I wanted to really see how big a difference it is to show off kind of this video, what these YouTubers are doing. Personally, my highest kill streak before this was 22. Then I went and dropped 33 kills consecutively in a match for the first time in the game, and that was a significant bump up. It's 11 extra kills, 50% more kills than my highest streak, and it was relatively easy. Obviously, you can still get one bursted, you can still get sniped, you can get hit by the random nade, but people are not getting into these protected brackets when it comes to Cold War. They're doing some other things to do this. So let's talk a little bit about gameplays, right? So why is this such a big deal? Because what happens is Call of Duty before, before Modern Warfare, in Call of Duty in general, has always been based off gameplays. Obviously, there's some more informative guys like myself, Drifter, Exclusive Ace, that we don't really focus on gameplay. We focus on in-game mechanics, stats, those types of things. And there's other guys out there. But then there's also another group of people that only do high kill gameplays, high KD, dropping nukes, and that's for entertainment. And then there's other people who cover the news. We got Who's Immortal, E. coli Espresso, and a bunch of other channels out there that are specifically news driven. They're focused on updates, patch notes, leaks, all that stuff. That's what they cover in the game. So as a result, everyone has their own little niche. But what happens is when you're a gameplay channel, and normally back in the day before in BO4 back and pretty much every Call of Duty with the exception of Advanced Warfare, people were reverse boosting then. So it's not a new mechanic. It's just skill-based matchmaking wasn't nearly as strong. Now you have it where they could jump on for 2 hours, and personally, when I would jump on, I could play World War II for 2 hours or BO4 for a couple hours, and because those are basically the recent Call of Duties that I've done YouTube for. I could jump on for 2 hours, and I could probably get 5 different gameplays with whatever weapon I wanted to use for that day, build the best class setup around that, and then literally pick and choose. Hey, which one do I want to use? Okay, that one's going to be background footage, and this will be actual gameplay that I'm going to show off, showing the weapon where I drop a V2 rocket or something from World War II. 2 hours, boom, you're good. I got a good gameplay. Relatively easy because my skill level was above the general population. I'm by no means the best player or in a top tier category, but I am significantly better and more experienced than the average player, I would say, when it comes to Call of Duty. And there's plenty of people significantly better. So in that same 2 hours, they're probably getting like 8 gameplays, 10 gameplays, and their gameplays are a little bit better, right? So we have that aspect. Then once Modern Warfare came along, you have two different groups. People are very principled, decided, hey, I'm never going to reverse boost. I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that. I'm just going to play it out. And now they're only uploading, hey, you know what, I get 15 kill streak because the nukes are a little bit hard to get without reverse boosting. And what ends up happening as a result of that, you have a group of individuals who don't care. They're like, I'm going to get my gameplay by any means necessary. So by using the reverse, boosting method, they could jump on for one match and get their gameplay. That's how kind of it's changed. So it's become very efficient. Instead of playing for like 5 hours and getting one good gameplay that is not even as good as that one match that you played on a reverse boosted lobby. So in terms of efficiency and content, their subscribers generally don't care. There's a lot of people who hate on them. Hey, you're cheating. You're beating up on people who have disabilities, whatever. There are those arguments there. I know I've seen plenty of those. I'm not going to target a specific YouTuber because a lot of them are doing it and a lot of them aren't. You kind of can tell just by the gameplay. If you have a brain, you can tell if it's reverse boosted. If people aren't shooting them back and they're doing it with ease and they're not reacting like they had to fight their life to get that nuke, probably reverse boosted. Just saying. So now that it's come around, I had to tell that part because now we're coming around to Cold War. If you had a choice, if you're a YouTuber and you're trying to make it because, you're a small YouTuber, you have less than 10,000 subscribers, and Joe Schmo YouTuber has 200,000 or 500,000 or over 1 million, and they play for one match and they get an amazing gameplay, they upload it to their channel, they get hundreds of thousands of views, they delete all the comments that say, hey, they're reverse boosting, or they just ignore them, and they get all these hundreds of thousands of views and they continue to grow. And you're a small, honest YouTuber with 10K subscribers and you upload your video and you grind it for 8 hours to get one gameplay, you're probably going to be a little bit frustrated, disappointed that you worked all for that and you get your 1,000 views on that video, which is still impressive for that size channel, but it's just the overall point is like, you got to work smarter, not harder. They could play in one day and you can get 8 gameplays. Then you don't got to play the game for the rest of the week. Some of these are treating this 100% like a business and they don't care about their subscriber base. They don't care if they enjoy the game or not. They don't care about any of that because they're just trying to get gameplays to get views. And that's okay. It's a business at a certain extent. Personally, I like the game. I enjoy Cold War versus Modern Warfare's multiplayer all day. And obviously I've played a lot of this game, probably even more than I'll play Modern Warfare by the time it's all done. But I also really enjoy Warzone, so I play Warzone. So it's kind of one of those things. You got to really pick. I'm not a gameplay channel, so I don't care how many kills I get, how flashy many nukes I got, or none of that. I'll probably never get a nuke in this game's life cycle if I'm not going to reverse boost, just based off skill-based matchmaking. I'm going to be with a bunch of 1.2, 1.5 KD players plus, since my KD hovers right around a 2 in this game. One of the things that's different with this is I've talked to a bunch of different YouTubers that do this, and they're probably going to be slightly upset that I talk about this, but I'm not going to mention names. That they're doing it a little bit different this time. They're starting with level 1 accounts, and they're not even tanking their stats. They don't even think it's necessary, because when you do that, you get put into a below average to average lobby. But since these players are incredibly skilled, they're still going to go ahead and drop the nuke. They don't need to get into a protected bracket to drop a nuke. Obviously, if you were an average player and they put you in the same lobby they're in, you'd probably go on a 10 streak if you're normally getting bloodthirsties. Maybe you go on a 15, but odds are you're not going to drop a nuke. It's still going to require a lot of skill to do, just like it always did in Call of Duty, unless you were using some kind of exploit. But with this particular case, they're not necessarily beating on bad players. They're just beating on slightly below average players. And it's a little bit different. Doesn't make it right, but from a business perspective, you could definitely understand, would you rather play the game for 8 hours and get 1 gameplay, or play it for 2 and maybe get 5 or 6, the way Call of Duty has always been up until Modern Warfare? If you'd say you'd rather play 8 hours to get 1 gameplay, then you probably don't understand business at all. So that brings us to the next point, is basically any of their gameplays, the class setup is almost irrelevant. They don't care. The class setup, it could be whatever. Plenty of them are dropping nukes with 0 attachments on their guns, and then in the video they're going to say, hey, I'm using this attachment, whatever, because it literally takes them 1 or 2 matches to get a nuke. Sometimes they're getting double nukes, triple nukes, with no attachment guns. If they had fully maxed out, probably even better gameplays. But at the end of the day, if you're following one of those channels and you don't care if they reverse boost or not, cool, just enjoy the gameplay. They go for a bunch of kills, they use whatever gun, it doesn't matter. But if you're under the delusion that a player is that amazing that they basically make every player look bad, when the general pro players in this game have a 2 KD with the incredibly high score per minute, and the guys that most of you guys are watching probably have a 7, 5, 6, 8 KD for pubs, which is definitely unrealistic in a skill-based matchmaking setting. So I thought I wanted to bring a little light to this. I talked a little bit of how they're doing it, why they're doing it, why it makes sense, how it works. If you want to do it yourself, go for it. And personally, I don't think this is something that is ever going to change for a long time, until they see the player base drastically shrink, that the hardcore players are gone, and that they start losing money. Because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that's going to remove skill-based matchmaking. This is here to stay. If people reverse boost, cool on them. But personally, I think they should put a little asterisk on their video, like I've done in today's video, showing what's reverse boosted and what's not, just so you have a better idea. If they, it is what it is. Be impressed, be not impressed. At the end of the day, most of them are good players because they were good before skill-based matchmaking was as strong as it is, and they were able to get gameplays on regular average lobbies. So we'll see how some of this stuff changes once ranked play is included, like we had in BO4. Hopefully you guys did enjoy the video, learned something new. If you did, please do me a favor, hit that like button. If you're brand new, want to find your way back, make sure you are subscribed with notifications on. Appreciate all the support on the content. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.